Hello and welcome back to another episode of Opinion or Opportunity. I am your host, Don Gringo. I want to take this time to say thank you to everybody who's been very supportive. Channel is growing, and with your help, it will continue to grow. So if you are finding my content on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, bell notification, but most importantly, share. Sharing is going to be very important. If you're following me on Facebook as well, on my Opinion or Opportunity page, please like, follow, and share as well. That would be mostly appreciated. If you're listening to my podcast, please let everyone know what we're doing here. If you're liking the content, growth is always good. And if you're following me on my social media platforms on Twitter and Parler, by all means, you'll find me at Opinion or Opportunity. And find it, retweet it, like it. Anything that you can do would be very much appreciated. So let's get into it. So, with all that being said, let's start off. Today is a very packed-filled day of nonsense and more nonsense and some more funny nonsense. I mean, politics is just like a content creator's dream. I mean, honestly, they just don't know when to quit. Sometimes it's like, you don't really find too many days where you can't find something and say, what the hell is going on? But first, before we get into the content, just to let everybody know, the website is finally getting up. dongringo.com. We are currently working on it. It's not fully operational, but I would love to get your opinions on it. Yes, that's right. I want your opinions on it. You can also send me the feedback at my Gmail, which is opinion.opportunity@gmail.com. And it's coming out pretty good, but I would love to get some more. This is not the final product, but my IT guy is working on it steadily, and we are growing, and we are very appreciative. And to show that, we are showing the love and support back, because at some point we'll be doing exclusive content only on the website. So let's get into what we have today. So let's start off. Actually, the first thing I want to start off with is the Supreme Court, right? So obviously the Republicans have been pushing, they have the votes. And I really want to say, like, no shit. We knew you had the votes. We knew you had the votes when you guys were not taking a step back and saying, maybe we should wait. We all knew you had the votes, and we all know you're going to push it through. We also knew which Republicans were at their weakest and who was probably not going to support it. And I think they only need like 4 or 6 Republicans to dissent, but I don't think they have that. I think everyone's going to push it through, because even Mitt Romney's on board with this. I mean, that guy doesn't have a choice. I mean, he moved out there to a conservative part of Utah, and he's moved around state to state trying to get reelected, and I just don't know what to say. This guy doesn't have a choice. If he slaps the Republican Party in the face again, I mean, they should just kick his ass out. I mean, it's understandable to a degree. You want to do what's right, but if you want people to support you and what you're looking to do, you got to show a little love back. And this guy, I think, finally gets down to it. He needs to start showing some love. But what's funny was Biden, came out, and Biden refused to say whether or not he supports packing the courts. And the funny thing is this guy is a guy, like, when he was running for president early on, and he actually had people he needed to run against within his own party. Oh, I'm going to put a list together. It's going to be all African-American females, blah, blah, blah. And here we are. He asked Trump posed the question to produce a list a week before RBG's death, right? Produced a list. He came out, lied after the fact, saying Trump only posed it after. CNN fact-checked it. We went over this in the previous podcast and called him a liar on it, and rightfully so. Thank God CNN's finally getting their head out of their ass a little. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking at least the direction they're heading in. But this right here is just absolutely asinine. This guy is, coming out and not saying something. He's telling you, I'm not going to tell you. Why vote for this guy? This guy does not have his only platform is everything is coronavirus related. It's all Donald Trump's fault. And he's not going to talk about the Supreme Court. Am I wrong on this? He's not going to come out and talk about the Supreme Court? When they were saying, oh, it's the Biden rule, now there's no rule. He came out and said there's no rule, blah, blah, blah. This is a problem, people. Biden needs to come out and he needs to produce a list like he said he would on the campaign trail before he accepted the nomination. He needs to follow through. This is part of the problem with politics. We're not holding our candidates accountable here. And maybe Trump is right because he's not doing it. Maybe he is not producing the list because the list he'd have to produce is not going to help him with the support within his own party. Think about it. His party is fractured, right? His party is fractured. That's where we're at. His party is fractured. And I think he'd have to go so left-wing that he's going to upset the moderates, or vice versa, right? He's going to have to get the moderates, which is going to upset AOC and everyone else under the sun, because AOC already came out and, let this radicalize you. So she's calling for radicalization. At some point, she uses the words, radicalize and too many others in combination. She just may be getting a knock on the door by the FBI for, trying to, support domestic terrorism. So she may just want to watch out with the word radicalize, right? It's an extreme word. And it wasn't made extreme by, everybody, in politics. It was made extreme by the people out there who want to use it and abuse it. So Biden needs to do something here, and we should be calling on him to do that. So let me see here. The next thing we need to go over. Oh, this is beautiful, by the way. This came out. Again, it's a CNN thing. This was 2 days ago, right? This is 2 days ago. These are two anchors. This is Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo going at it. You got to hear this.
No matter what happens, everybody sticks with the team.
We're going to have to blow up the entire system. And you know what we're going to have to do? No, I don't know. You know what we're going to... Yes.
Yeah. You hear that? Let's repeat that. Don Lemon calls for blowing up the entire system. At some point, again, we've got to think about this. This right here, the call for violence by the left is extreme. And now it's coming from mainstream media, the call for violence. This is not someone calling someone racist. This is a call to violence. Now, if this was, if YouTube was doing their job, because this is a YouTube video, that might just be against their rules, right? Listen.
No matter what happens, everybody sticks with the team.
We're going to have to blow up the entire system. And
we're going to have to blow up the entire system. So people need to pay attention to this. This is left media, YouTube, obviously supporting left media, CNN.
We're going to have to do,
I don't know
you know what we're going to, yes, what you have to do?
You just got to
honestly, from what you're...
So Chris Cuomo, the guy who's had more scandals in the past couple of years than any other media anchor out there, really. I mean, the guy is just incredible with scandals, right? And the last one, media is not your friend, blah, blah, blah. He's the one who's sitting down here being a little bit more realistic, which is absolutely weird. I think this guy's trying to reinvent himself to be the voice of reason now all of a sudden, right? Because he doesn't even believe all the shit that he spouts because he has to spout because he gets paid for it. Listen to this, though. He actually sounds a little knowledgeable.
The closing argument is you're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can stack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
So Don Lemon's already calling. Let's go and pack the courts. We're going to do all this. This is what needs to be done, right? This is what needs to be done. Now, listen to Chris Cuomo's response. Now, again, this is where I'm saying CNN's getting a little bit better, though I'm not sure how much I like Fredo, but Fredo is pretty right on point here. I got to give him credit where credit's due.
Well, you need two-thirds vote in the Congress and 3/4 of the state legislatures.
They may be able to do that.
Maybe.
No, it's not going to happen. And Chris Cuomo was right on point there. I mean, he actually knew what the hell he was talking about. So it makes me wonder, is the reputation of Chris Cuomo a Chris Cuomo thing, or is it because he has to be two different people and he's got like Batman syndrome? He's idiot, stupid person, at night, and he's normal person during the day, depending on when the camera's on and the money's flowing and when he's just by himself. I'm not saying I agree with Fredo on everything, but that one seemed a little bit more realistic. But it's funny, as of earlier today, now you have Barack Obama No, there's an article out here and CNN Politics again. CNN Politics, they're coming around. President Barack Obama on Wednesday urged Americans to text him with their plans to vote in the upcoming election. Could that be election tampering? So if you call this number and you have someone trying to sway your vote, depending on how you look at it, you could be looking at election tampering. Because this ain't an ad. This is, whatever. Now, you could argue people going door to door to sign people up to vote and blah, blah, blah. I get it. But you have to be very careful today in how you do this, right? So it says, in a tweet, Obama listed phone numbers and said, all right, let's try something new. Is something new legal? If you're in the United States, send me a text, right, to the 773-365-9687 number. I want to hear how you're doing, what's on your mind, and how you're planning to vote this year. I'll be in touch from time to time to share what's on my mind too. So I don't know if this is a ploy, if it's I don't know, because it's not an ad. So I don't know how to look at that. But here's the thing. You're a little late to the digital media front. Donald Trump's already ahead on that. And to bring up Barack Obama out after you propped up Joe Biden, and there's just so much crap going on with fucking slow Joe. And I'm on board with Trump with that one. This guy is out there. And I'm going to get into it. I have gotten into it in the previous podcast. My problem is not so much with the Democratic Party in total. My problem is this is the idiot candidate you gave me to go up with someone who's a lot faster than him mentally and who's going to dominate him in a one-on-one contest like next week's debate. I mean, Joe ain't going to keep up. I'm sorry. We've already seen this guy. He has a problem with a teleprompter and talking. His whole crew turns around and gives him the wrong information. And we've already seen this between the card in my pocket and these are the military death and coronavirus totals when it was actually Michigan's numbers when he was speaking in Michigan. And I keep this in my pocket and it's updated every day. Joe, there was a big difference in numbers, brother. So if you saw tens of thousands of different deaths or thousands of deaths from a couple hundred in a single jump, brother, you got a problem. And maybe that's why he thought, last Sunday's, press conference that by the time his speech ended, there was going to be 200 million people dead. Thank God. Hopefully that guy's still talking and he ain't fucking dead himself yet, because that's more than half the U.S. population at 331 million people in the U.S. And he was a vice president. I'm telling you, this is probably elder abuse right here. This is elder abuse. So Joe Biden's son, this guy, if there's ever that one person in your family that screws everything up, this is the kid. This is the one. This is the son, the uncle, the brother, you name it. This is the idiot right here. This is Joe's third time running for president. The first time he really could fucking win. And this fucking idiot can't keep his, his penis in his pants, right? So the big scandal for today with Hunter Biden, because it's today, this guy's got everything going for him, is he was tied to a prostitution ring, an international prostitution ring. So Hunter Biden and this is the New York Post, right? So the committee... So this is a committee here from the U.S. Treasury Department. Also said they obtained records from the U.S. Treasury Department that shows, quote, shows potential criminal activity relating to transactions among and between Hunter Biden, his family, his associates with the Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhs, and Chinese nationals. The report adds the record also notes that some of these transactions are linked to what appears to be an Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. Do I need to say that again? This kid is a straight up scumbag. Period. Straight up scumbag. Straight up. That's Joe Biden's kid right there. And you would think with the way the media and the news is these days and has been for the past couple of decades, he'd be a little smarter than that. But sorry, Joe, you've kept the wrong kid. Sorry. So Joe's reaction today, and not that very long ago, this is Joe's reaction to a press conference now, because all this started hitting today.
How was your role as vice president in charge of policy in Ukraine and your son's job in Ukraine? How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not gonna respond to that. Let's focus on the problem. Focus on this man, what he's doing, that no president has ever done. No president.
That's Joe right there. Let's not answer a question, right, Joe? Nothing that hasn't been screened by your people. Nothing that you haven't had a chance to figure out a response to. Nothing that you can actually turn around and make a difference in responding one way to the other to, because that's not what you can do. I'm surprised if he makes it through today, if this guy doesn't have a heart attack, I promise you he's going back to the basement. He's hiding. You ain't going to see him until the debate, because Hunter fucked up again, and Hunter's fucking up this guy's campaign again. That's just what it comes down to. And I feel bad for Joe, but I mean, Hunter, in all actuality, depending on which side if you're a man's man, you don't want to party like a rock star. You want to party like Hunter Biden, because we already know he loves prostitutes prostitutes and strippers, especially strippers, because we know there's a baby involved there, right? We know he loves his drugs and his drinking. So I don't want to use the term party like a rock star anymore. I'm using the term, I'm going to party like Hunter Biden, right? I want to party like Hunter Biden. I want to sit there raking millions and have daddy help me out. And, I'm going to, fuck everything with two legs and not even care where and when it comes from, right? And snort some fucking coke off the table, off our hooker's ass. It doesn't matter at this point, because I don't think Hunter cares either. And I'm going to have a bottle of Jack with me. That's where we're at. So in some ways I feel bad for Joe, but don't think for a minute, that just Biden has his own scandals, because I brought this up in a previous podcast. Kamala is not free of politics, scandals in politics. Kamala moved up because of, who did I say before? Willie Brown. And Gates came out and called her out on it. Kamala Harris has moved up in California politics because she was dating Willie Brown. Oh, by the way, dating Willie Brown while he was still married, right? And she's a straight up machine candidate. And again, these scandals are coming back and biting these people in the butt. And no, I've said it. Kamala slept her way to the top. She didn't start at the bottom. She started on the top to work her way even higher on the top, to where she got off the top, and she's moving up on her own. But she started on top of something or someone. That's where we're at. That's the truth of it. And you can't change facts. But what surprised me too here was this. I said it in my previous podcast that, I think the Democrats are wrong for trying to impeach Donald Trump, because it only solidifies his base. It only makes his base more aggressive. And it turns a lot of people who are independents to him, because I think the Democrats have abused their congressional power lately. They really have, and I think they have for 3 years, and the American people are tired of it. And every time something stupid happens and they try to go after him, he gains in the polls. And we're weeks away from the election, and these idiots like Nancy Pelosi and everyone else wants to impeach it, where here's Kaine. Senator Kaine, he was the vice presidential nominee with Hillary Clinton, and he came out and says impeaching Trump to stall the Supreme Court nominee is foolish. And he's absolutely right. Maybe he's the one who should have ran for president, not Hillary. Maybe this guy had it right. You never know. But you got to really think about that, right? So Kaine's right. Now, they're finally starting to see it. There's some Democrats out there who are going, wait a minute here. We got to get rid of Pelosi. We got to get rid of her nonsense and her rhetoric. She's no longer helping people. And the next thing I want to go over, there's a couple of articles. One's in Legal Insurrection, and one is in Mother Jones. Now, I'm not saying these are both the best type of publications you want to be getting your news from, but The funny thing is this, in Legal Insurrection, the headline is, it's only a matter of time before liberals blame RGB for not retiring sooner. Now, both these articles came out, I believe, on the same day. So this is September 21. And this is, nope, this is back in November of 2018. So this is funny. So Mother Jones is 2018. And the title of that article is What the Cult of Ruth Bader Got Wrong. And both these articles basically come down to the same thing. This woman should have retired when Obama was president, but she didn't want to. So they're all now turning on her legacy. This poor woman just died. She's done a lot for this country. And now they're starting to turn on her because why? Because they can't stop what's going to happen, right? You got the Democrats got rid of the filibuster, and now they can't filibuster. So now what? You're going to impeach a guy who's just going to win the election because you decided to impeach him at the end. It's going to have a reverse effect to what Comey did with Hillary. It's just these Democrats, I don't know who their strategists are, but they should be taken out back and shot. It's because some of these people are just straight up idiots, right? And it's sad to say, but this woman deserves better. And lastly, the Justice Department deems New York City, Portland, and Seattle anarchist jurisdictions. Trump orders a review of federal funding to locales where violence has occurred and has been made ridicule of these cities in a regular feature of campaign appearances. Basically, he's trying to take away federal funding. And in all honesty, I don't want to pay my tax money going to those places. I don't. I think that those idiot politicians in those cities and with those people who have elected them, they should pay for their own price. This isn't a natural disaster. This isn't something that could have been, this isn't something that we couldn't have stopped. You know what I mean? This isn't an earthquake, a hurricane, a tornado. It's a fucking tornado, but it's a tornado of people. It's a tornado of politicians, a tornado of fucking idiots is what it is. And we're turning around and we're seeing now that the result of it, and now they want money? No, I don't think you should get money. And it's not some of Trump supporters, because I don't think you fucking deserve any portion of the tax dollars that are paid by people from other parts of the country that go to the state, gets funneled up to the feds to get funneled back out to where it needs to go. I don't think it needs to go to you. I think maybe you should change your policies. I think maybe you should do a better job of governing and budgeting and things that you're supposed to goddamn do, and turn around and stop playing politics with people's lives. How about that? And the people who are hearing us who live in those jurisdictions, guess what? Maybe you should turn around, get out the vote, but maybe turn around and talk to your neighbors, talk to people, actually turn around and elect people who are going to make things better for your city. Because right now, the uptick in violence and everything else under the sun, and then the liberal media is calling for burn it down. And there's going to be more violence. I don't think you deserve a fucking dollar. But that's just my thought. Now, there's opportunities throughout all here. Now, listen, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death, there's an opportunity here as a country to come together, put in a nominee that's a moderate, straight up in the middle, moderate independent. I think that's probably the best way to go here, and I think ease some tensions, right? That's an opportunity here. The opportunity for Hunter Biden, I think that motherfucker needs to leave country, get out of the sight of the cameras, and go party, bro. Go live it up, but just stop hurting your father, because that's fucking ridiculous, bro. I'm serious. I don't know what to say to you other than, yep, go snort another line off a hooker's ass. Do whatever you got to do, bro, but you got to do it away from the cameras. You got to do it away from people being able to find out. You just got to be smarter. At the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? And then, there's an opportunity here, not for Kamala. She's going to sleep with who she sleeps with. I mean, that woman's just proved it time and time again. But, at the end of the day, when we look at this, there's a lot of opportunities here to be better. And we need to take those opportunities to be better. And I hope you do that. And I hope we can move forward in a much better situation without the violence and start talking to one another. We made politics such a faux pas and such a violent thing that there's no way for anyone to go to their neighbor and say, hey, what do you think? right? What do you think? Because we don't even talk to our neighbors anymore, the people across the street, most of the people in our community, because we only talk to the people that are in our lives over our phones. We have a generation of children here who have more friends that they don't know because they're on Facebook and everywhere else than they actually can go and meet up with, right? They're not their friends. They didn't grow up the way we did. And it's sad. But there's that lack of community because of it. And you're seeing this on a lot of different digital media. And understand, it's the same thing here. I've never met you. I would hope one day to meet you. I would be able to have a relationship with my audience where things are good. But until we get to that point as a society where we stop getting everything from social media, where everything needs to be PC, where everything is a threat when you say something, everything, and have a little thicker skin. But be able to not listen to respond, but listen to hear to people, we're not going to get there. We're just not. But I hope we can. So with that being said, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will talk to you later.